Good night, everybody. Or maybe not quite good night yet, but it's time for a bedtime story. Are you all ready for bed? Have you got your jammies on? Have you brushed your teeth? Have you been to the potty? Have you gotten that one last cup of water? Have you said good night? All over the world, children may live in very different places. They may live in the cold, cold, snowy tundra. They may live in the hot, hot desert. They may live in the jungle. They may live in the city. They may live in a big house with a big bed, or they may live in a tiny apartment and they have to share a bed with another brother or sister. Or they may live somewhere else entirely. They may live in the African grasslands where it almost never rains, and so they don't need a roof over their head that is more than thatched grass. See that? And they don't need more of a bed cover than just a single sheet. But everywhere all the world over, kids are trying to get out of going to bed. Right? Are you doing that? You're making excuses? No matter where you live, sometimes you're just not quite ready for bed until you've said good night to everything. This book is by Rachel Isadora, and it's called I Just Want to Say Good Night. That's all, right? Want to say good night to you? Want to say good night to me? Now, if we were in the same room, I would ask you to help me tell the story. I'm going to ask you to help me tell the story anyway, because you're going to see a lot of different things to say good night to in this book, and I want you to tell me what they are. Even if I can't really hear you, pretend that I can hear you. I want you to be speaking up and telling me what it is, and then we're all going to say good night. So this is the story. I just want to say good night. Well, let's practice. What's this? Can you see what she's talking to? It's a goat. What's a goat say? Hey, meh. Is that what a goat says? I don't know. How would she say goodnight to the goat? Would she say, good night, goat? Meh. I Just Want to Say Goodnight by Rachel Isadora. On the African veld, there is a village. As the sun sets, the parents tell their children, guess what? It's time for bed. No matter where you live. Lala greets her papa, who's been fishing. There he is, his fishing pole. There she is. There's the dog. Oh, you caught a big one, she says. Yes, it was a good day, Papa says. And now it is time for bed, Papa tells Lala. I just want to say good night to the... What's that? The fish, Lala says. You ready to say good night? Everybody say good night to the fish then. Good night, fish. You think she's ready for bed now? She say good night to the fish. Come, Lala, Mama says. Oh, no, I just want to say good night to... Oh, who's this that she's looking at? Do you see who that is? Their long tail and the pointy ears. I just want to say good night to the cat, Lala says. You say good night to the cat? Good night, cat. Meow. You think she's ready for bed now? It's getting late, Mama calls. I just want to say goodnight to who? The bird, Lala says. That's a fancy bird. Maybe you know what kind of bird that is, but Lala doesn't call it by a fancy name. She just says, it's the bird. So, good night, bird. Lala! Do you think her parents are getting impatient? I just want to say goodnight to who? We already talked about this one. The goat. Lala says, good night, goat. You don't have to say it like a goat. You say just good night, goat. You think she's ready for bed now? It is time to go to sleep, Mama calls. But I just want to say goodnight to, uh-oh, who's visiting? The monkey, Lala says. She's giving the monkey a flower. Good night, monkey. Oh, 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 says the monkey. Think she's ready for bed yet? Come now, Mama says. I just want to say goodnight to, oh my goodness, there's a lot of them. Who's she saying goodnight to? The chickens, says Lala. Good night, chickens. Bark, bark. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, Lala, Mama says. I just want to say goodnight to... Guess who she wants to say goodnight to now? No, it's not the dog. It's not the baby. Look really, really closely. It's all the little ants, Lala says. Say goodnight to the ants. Good night, little ants. I don't know what kind of language ants speak. Do you think she's ready for bed yet? I'm just not ready to go to sleep, Lala says to her dog. Guess what the dog says? Woof! Now, Mama says. Yes, yes, I am coming. I just want to say goodnight to the rock, Lala says. Do you think the rock can say goodnight back? I don't think so. Let's say it anyway. Good night, rock. Lala gets into bed. Sweet dreams, Mama says. Good night, Mama. Get the baby sleeping there too. Oh, the chickens are coming in. I just want to say goodnight to my book, Lala says. Can you guess what her favorite book is? It's a book you might have read before too. Good night, Moon, she whispers and smiles. In that book, the bunny says goodnight to everything too. She's got a whole bunch of different things to say goodnight to than the bunny in the great green room. But she could still say goodnight to the moon. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. And now I will say good night to you. I will see you next week. Sweet dreams.